Temperance in the Tarot. Temperance is the 14th trump card in most tarot decks. It is almost invariably depicted as a person pouring liquid from one receptacle into another. In some decks, the person is a winged angel, a spirit, sometimes neither male or female but sexless. Various card designers have then added symbols to the angel and the water pouring, but these are the key ones. Many of the cards are based on the existing symbolism used for temperance, which is one of the 4 cardinal virtues. Paintings, wall plaques, etchings, wood carvings, fountains, tombs, friezes and frescoes, and plaques. There is even religious imagery that classifies lack of temperance as a sin, without giving any explanation of why it is a sin. Temperance, based on the cardinal virtues, hinges on the idea that everything is done in moderation, and that both excess of anything, overstimulation, and deprivation of anything, understimulation, gluttony, gossip, lust, greed, sloth, etc., is wrong. But why? And the reason is that it affects one's ability to have any form of spiritual input, and we will now proceed to explain why. The mind and messages. Let us now turn to the model of the mind that we have on our website and have used a number of times in our videos. It is split into 2 parts, the immortal soul or higher spirit, and the mortal soul, which is in turn split into the conscious and the subconscious. We only know of the body and its external stimuli via the sensations derived from the 5 senses and the nervous systems. They in turn, along with the memories they invoke, produce emotions. As such, we can look upon ourselves as a mind receiving inputs from the body subconsciously, via our thoughts, perceptions. The conscious mind then has extra functions: learn, memory, recall, decision-making, that is, the combined reason and will, and the functions that record our desires and obligations. The conscious mind, as a consequence, only has one main input: the thoughts that come from the subconscious perceive function, either directly or through learning. Henri Bergson noticed that these thoughts are not just a signal or message, they also had intensity, or as he called it, amplification. Henri Bergson, Time and Free Will. As soon as a thing is acknowledged to be capable of increase and decrease, it seems natural to ask by how much it decreases, or by how much it increases. And because a measurement of this kind does not appear to be possible directly, It does not follow that science cannot successfully accomplish it by some indirect process, either by an integration of infinitely small elements, as Fechner, shown here, proposes, or by any other roundabout way. Either, then, emotion, say, is pure quality, or if it is a magnitude, we ought to try to measure it. But he found that although the theory of this seems straightforward, and this is the equipment he tried, in the end we have to recognize that intensity is a personal experience, and only we can assess it. And this is why spiritual experience is also personal. What works for some will not work for another. Spiritual input. If we now go back to the model of the mind, you can see that the thoughts, perceptions also go to our higher spirit. And spiritual input from our higher spirit goes down to our subconscious. So really, in order to perceive the whisper of spirit input that is coming from our higher spirit, we have to really increase the clarity of the thoughts, perceptions going to the higher spirit, so that the input we seek is given. And we thus have to really reduce the intensity of the mundane sensations and emotions, so that our thoughts, in reality prayers for help, are clear. And we can also hear the whisper of spiritual input. Thus this card is showing us that the spirit input from our higher spirit, shown in this Rider-Waite card as the upper cup, can only flow down to be heard by our perception function, the lower cup, if we are calm, tranquil, and we curb the chatter from our bodies and memory. We are temperate. So there is a very good reason to be temperate, and labelling it a sin is not very helpful. If we are temperate, we get all the good things our higher spirit can send us: inspiration, wisdom and healing. If we are not temperate and lead a life of excess, the implication is that we may lose inspiration, have to work ourselves into the ground to gain knowledge when we could have had wisdom, and we become ill because we never receive enough healing. Temperance and reincarnation. If we don't receive enough spirit input from our higher spirit, there is also an additional disadvantage explained in the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita, translated by W.J. Johnson. Men who know Brahman, departing by fire, by light, by day, in the bright lunar fortnight, and during the 6 months of the sun's northern path, go to Brahman. The yogin who has attained the moon's light by smoke, by night in the dark lunar fortnight, and during the 6 months of the sun's southern path, returns. For the universe, these light and dark paths are considered eternal. Via one a man goes not to return, via the other he returns again. And one tarot card has captured this. The Light Seer's card uses the sun and the moon to indicate that temperance determines which path you end up going on. Reincarnation back to the drudgery of a mortal life on the moon's path, or the path to a higher existence and no reincarnation to earth via the sun's path. Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley's card is not called Temperance, it is called Art. And art is not temperance, because Crowley did not believe in temperance as a route to spiritual experience. Alchemists call their profession art, the art of perfection or philosophical art. Its main task is to combine contradictory elements on a higher level so that it can transform the basic into a higher one. Among the four elements, fire, air, earth and water are the most extreme pairs of discrepancies, so their unification represents the highest art. Aleister Crowley's card is thus not depicting temperance at all. And you can look in vain across many decks and many eras, but you will not find another card that is anything like it. His card and its meaning are unique.